before you decide what you think of me, just hear me out. Because if what I'm about to say is completely wrong, then it's just another video on the internet. But if there's even a chance I'm right, then this conversation matters. My entire life I've carried something I never asked for. Not a title, not a gift, not a superpower, a burden. Because since I was a kid, I would see things. Not like watching a movie, not like reading tomorrow's newspaper. More like fragments, impressions, warnings, pieces of a puzzle that wouldn't leave me alone. I remember telling people that Earth would enter a period of increased upheaval, that the planet itself would become more active, that we'd see strange behavior in our skies, greater solar activity, more volcanic activity, more earthquakes, more extreme weather, food systems under pressure, growing instability, and people would look at me like I had 3 heads. Some laughed, some mocked me, some stopped talking to me entirely. And honestly, I don't blame them. Most of these things sounded impossible until they didn't. Because look around, solar storms have intensified. Volcanoes across the world continue waking and erupting. Indonesia, Japan, Iceland, Italy, Hawaii. Earthquakes continue shaking regions I spent years talking about. Weather patterns seem increasingly erratic. Communities around the world are feeling pressure from droughts, floods, storms, supply issues, and rising uncertainty. Now stop, because this is the point where people usually misunderstand me. This is not fear. Fear is easy. Fear is cheap. Fear gets clicks. Fear sells advertisements. I'm not interested in fear. What interests me is paying attention. Because when enough puzzle pieces begin appearing on the table, eventually you have to acknowledge a picture may be forming. And here's the part that keeps me awake at night. The events themselves aren't what concerns me most anymore. Years ago, I thought the message was about volcanoes. I thought it was about earthquakes. I thought it was about disasters. I don't think that now. I think those were only the backdrop. The real message was always about people, about who would wake up, about who would find each other, about who would refuse to let fear consume them when uncertainty arrived. You see, Source never showed me crowds. Source showed me individuals, strong souls, independent thinkers, people who could feel something changing before they could explain it. People who never fit neatly into society's boxes. People who always felt like they came here for something more than working, consuming, sleeping, and repeating. Sound familiar? Then maybe that's why you're here. Because for years I kept asking the same question. Why show me any of this? Why carry this weight? Why spend decades feeling like I'm shouting into the wind? When the answer I kept receiving is surprisingly simple. You're not here to convince anyone. You're here to find your people. Think about that. Not everybody. Your people. The builders, the healers, the visionaries, the protectors, the gardeners, the creators, the ones who still believe humanity's best days are not behind us, the ones who understand that preparation isn't panic, awareness isn't fear, and unity isn't weakness. Those people matter now more than ever, because if challenging times are ahead, communities will matter, relationships will matter, skills will matter, trust will matter, human beings will matter. And that's why I'm making this video. Not to predict, not to scare, not to be proven right. I couldn't care less about being right. I care about bringing the right people together before the window closes. A community, a network, a tribe. People connected by purpose instead of panic. People connected by courage instead of fear. People connected by the understanding that no one gets through transformational times alone. So if something inside you has been whispering that the world is changing, if you've spent years feeling different, if you've been searching for others who understand what you can't quite put into words, then maybe this is your sign. Drop a comment. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what you've been noticing. Share this with someone who feels the same pull. Save it, because you'll want to come back to this conversation. And subscribe if you're ready to help build something bigger than any one person. Because maybe the question isn't whether the world is changing. Maybe the question is, will the people who were meant to find each other do it in time? And if they do, then what comes next might be the most extraordinary chapter humanity has ever written. Till next time, remember, we're all in this together, fam. One love.